Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, wherever you are. This is Doc Skinner with 1028 Live. I hope you're all having a good day. It is March 31st, 2020, the end of March. Man, what a crazy month it has been. Right now, we are live on YouTube. And what I'm going to do really, really quick is I'm going to go to 1028 Productions on YouTube. And I'm going to, if you haven't subscribed, please hit the subscribe and notification bell. Let me mute this real quick. Boom, mute. And I'm going to share that onto my Facebook page. And if you want to, you can do the same. So, go away. All right. And share this to my story as well. How about we do that? Click post. So if you want to do the same, that would be awesome. Tonight's going to be a great show. Tonight I have from Hawaii, third phase of Moon, the Cousins brothers, and we're going to be talking about a bunch of cool stuff. Whoop, here comes the messages. And so let me clear this out. So I got that, and then we're going to be chatting in the YouTube chat room. So if you want to say hello there, then we can do it there. Hope everybody's staying safe. I know, of course, a lot of people knew things were going to get a little more extended. It's probably going to get crazy, but it's not as crazy as I thought it would be. It's a little more mellow. I don't know, but we shall all eventually come to find out what happens. All right, so what we're going to do is we're going to bring on some friends. And let me go over here and bring on the, where is it? The display capture. And where is this? It's a new button. And magically, we're going to click, let's see. I have to hit so it shows up. That's what I have to do. That helps. And sholalam, here we are. Ladies and gentlemen, Blake Cousins. How are you, sir?
Doing good, Doc. Hey, thanks for having me on the show. Hopefully everything's going okay over there for you in Arizona.
Oh yeah. Everything's pretty good. I mean, I think tonight is our lock. We start lockdown at 5. I don't know. We're not in the city. We're way up here in the mountains, so it's a little more subdued up here. But it's scary. It makes you ponder on some things that you see and question a lot. I mean, not that it's not real. It's very real. It's going around. But sometimes it seems like things are getting exaggerated in some cases, which has been proven, which is kind of sad, when it comes to our media. But anyway, so I wanted, because of all that going on, let me ask you, how are things on the island? I mean, you
Well,
guys are the epitome of secluded, I mean, already. So is it just like business as normal, or everybody at home?
I think our state's pretty much the first of its kind. We're doing something different than any other state in our American 50 states. We're actually, if you want to fly into Hawaii, you're going to have to go through a 14-day mandatory quarantine. So, there's no restrictions of flight between any other state except Hawaii. So I think that's a good maneuver. This island and the people here are like the Aloha spirit, and there's a lot of hugs and a lot of kisses and a lot of shaking hands going on. And I'm wondering if they're still following the rules or not. People need to know that this is transferable by doing this. And I'm not seeing as much of a lockdown as I'd like in its own way. The roads are still pretty heavily traversed, and we'll see on how that goes. But right now our numbers are still pretty low. But again, we are one of the most isolated, if not the most isolated place on the planet. I wish maybe 3 months ago they should have stopped, or at least 2 months ago, stopped any kind of flights coming in. And then Hawaii could have had its own utopia, its own paradise.
Right.
And we could have lived here all by ourselves, taking care of each other. And then the hotels could have opened up for, the locals and dropped down prices. And we could have kept the economy going for at least 3 months on our own. And that would have been, ideal. But that's, we're beyond that one.
I want to move to Hawaii. You made it sound so awesome. Wow. I mean, I've been there. It is awesome. But you just made it sound like it's its own utopia. I mean, it was just the way you did it was perfect. You should work for the travel bureau.
Yeah, no doubt. Interesting. Every afternoon my brother and I, we're pretty much quarantined. We're staying here. We're keeping to ourselves and working on third phase of Moon, obviously. But in about an hour out of the day, we find a back road where we don't see anybody for miles, and we'll do a couple mile jog and get some exercise in. And it's kind of cool because you're in your own zone, you're in your own planet, kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
If people kind of had that opportunity where they live, I feel sorry for people in California and some of these major cities that are just confined into their box, and
Right.
it's scary to go outside your door or what have you.
Yeah. But it seems like everybody's becoming an online podcaster the past week. Have you noticed that?
Well, I've noticed actually the major media is kind of stepping down to our level, and at
Right.
points, epic fails on their point. They should have actually asked some of the people that have been doing this for years, kind of knowing how it's done. But yeah,
Mm-hmm.
they're coming down to our level, so it's kind of opening up the field. We'll see how this goes. It's interesting. It's still hard to find videos out there. I'm kind of curious to look for, such as I want to see what cities are like. I want to see how people are dealing with it. I want
Mm-hmm.
to talk to somebody that has actually contracted it in their day-to-day lives, and it's really hard to find any kind of information on YouTube really out there. You can't do a search and go for last hour. Obviously, people are putting up videos all the time, but you just can't find it. They're non-existent. I don't know why. I don't want to speculate, but I'm sure we could kind of
Well, wait,
figure out
wait.
why.
This is something that I threw out there earlier this week or last week. I don't know. All the days are running together. But you have an amazing following. Okay, I'm sure you could probably put a shout out saying, "Hey, we're looking for correspondents in different locations around the world who would be interested." It's volunteer basis, of course, but that way you can get some inside, like you guys were during the volcano, which I wanted to talk about in a minute. You were literally the boots on the ground. You were like the news when it came to the volcano. You were literally walking on it almost. I mean, technically you are, but you were like up to the lava. Total Indiana Jones stuff. It was awesome. It was fun to watch, but dangerous. Um, and I was going off on how awesome it was. I forgot where I was going with this.
But I think I know where you're going. You want me to, with
Oh
our
yes,
seven,
correspondence.
six,
Yes.
yeah,
Yeah.
hundreds,
Because
almost
you could get somebody in
600.
different country all around the world, have it on the map, and each week has, hey, we got our correspondent from Germany, so and so, and this is our correspondent from Italy showing us the hospitals firsthand, blah 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 blah. I mean, that's news, but I mean UFOs in your case.
Yeah,
So yes, now you guys have seriously let's keep moving forward because I have a bunch of questions I want to bring up.
yeah, hit them
Um,
up.
First off, so people get an idea of who you are that might be unknowing of third phase of Moon. Okay, it's you and your brother and your twins, and you were born in the islands, right? And you were raised there. That's your home turf. Is
Well,
that correct?
we were born in California. We moved over to the state in 1973.
Okay, you just seem so natural, like you sprouted from Hawaii. So you just yeah. So okay, cool. So you moved there in '73, and you're also filmmakers. You have a feature film that was like it's a cult classic, especially on the island. Uh, um, I think you did a release of a re-release of it recently in the past 2 months. Is that correct? Or something?
Yeah, we did it. It was a box office blockbuster 20 years ago,
Yeah.
and we decided let's just remake this movie, reboot it in a modern day format and the technology that we have now than what we didn't have 20 years ago. Kind of went along the same storyline, but definitely a brand new film, new actors, new location, and yeah, pretty
Okay. Now,
interesting.
so that kind of what was going to my next one is filmmaking. I'm sure you and your brother, you're very creative. You're great with the camera and being in front of the camera. Is this something you've done since the camcorder was created, or was it UFOs first? Did you have something that triggered the urge to research that, and then it went into filmmaking? Which came first?
Well, I would have to say probably the UFO phenomenon came first. My brother and I had some actually close encounters, very close actually, with aliens. They visited us when we're probably about 4 years old. We don't talk about it much, but yeah, pretty amazing. We're introduced to these little guys that came into our room, and my brother and I, we went. We both told our parents exactly what we experienced, what we saw, and kind of amazing. Then we've seen some strange UFOs, but throughout our life, and we also have a affinity with the cinema, obviously, and we kind of begged our parents to get us a VHS camera when we were 12. We were already dabbling with Super 8 film since we were probably about 6-7 years old, and our parents have always archived us since we're born on Super 8. So we've always kind of hammed it up in front of the Super 8s, and it kind of went into that direction. But it was interesting when YouTube came along that we were able to move our filmmaking, editing, production into a way to showcase evidence that's entertainment in an entertaining way on YouTube. And I think we kind of filled the niche when we first came on the block. I don't know, about 9-10 years ago, right when the early stages of YouTube.
Wow. Yeah, because I remember when I started the show 4.5 years ago, we had talked because we were going to have you come on, and I was trying to do a spin-off, and didn't work out as well. But then you guys were getting shut down. You guys were targeted. You guys were having issues with your internet, with your servers, and you were putting out some intense stuff at those moments. Have you come to find a relief to that, or is it still having issues?
Well, it's still every video we put up. It's a shot in the dark, whether it stays up or it doesn't. And a lot recently, I think there's been a lot of people just looking over the videos, and they come up, and you really got to skirt and dialogue your way around the corner so you avoid some of these ways that YouTube shuts the videos down or demonetizes it. So you got to be really kind of keen on how you're going to put out the content, as well as how you even title it or even upload your videos. Right. I can't even say probably, the best UFO video captured or the greatest flying saucer, because those are the ones that are already going to they don't want you talking about UFO and flying saucer. You got to come up with really random names for your videos, almost like peppermint patty or a chocolate bar. And it's so weird because when you upload it with these titles, then usually they don't have issues. So you got to be real selective on how you title it, how you upload it. It's kind of sucks, because I remember 8 years ago, we were putting out some crazy stuff, crazy insight from people that have had incredible encounters. And, nowadays it's going to immediately be demonetized, and then you risk your channel even being shut down in the long run if you continue to do it, because you're going to be basically breaking community guidelines.
Yeah.
And it's kind of risky. Even we've covered the virus, what's going around right now, but we're not mentioning the name. We're not putting it in the title, and you got to be real careful about that, because we're going to get lumped up with, even though we're putting out information and it's coming from real people. A lot of people will say, well, you're going to get lumped up with the bad guys out there, the bad apples that are ruining for everybody. It's kind of sad.
It's sad, but at the same time, all I see is you and your brother. You're like podcast pirates. Arr, we shall find a way.
Yeah, well, we've been doing it for a long time, and we've been up and down. It's a roller coaster, and they're always throwing something new at you. And recently, we've been notified via YouTube, and I'm sure every other channel out there has, is that they've recently lost. Well, they haven't lost anybody, personally to death, but they've actually shut down a lot of employees going over these videos. So they basically stated out there that, your video might get taken down without any reason whatsoever. And it's not because you made the mistake or it's your fault. It's just, unfortunately, we can't cover it. So don't worry about it if your video gets shut down. It isn't your fault. And don't come to us crying because of what's going on right now. And so they're basically wiping their hands clean in case, no liability at that point. But, it's it's their platform, and we're pretty grateful for YouTube. I'm sure glad it did come around because, what other platform can you kind of showcase evidence, link it up to people who shot it and enhance it, and, in this kind of format, cable television, and there's only so much limited space for that, and they really don't want to touch what we got.
Yeah, no, you guys come up with some great stuff, and we're gonna go into that. Now, last night, I've just come back to YouTube. I was on YouTube in the beginning, and then there was, of course, all those issues, and so I jumped ship. I was like, I'll just go over to the other social platform that we won't name and use that. It was working great, but I wanted to get a little more broader audience, so I came back to YouTube this week. Why not? There's not much else going on, and so I just want to make sure that I say hello to the people in the chat room. We got Audrey, Tina, Dave Dennis from Australia. He loves you guys. He says,
Oh, cool.
or he says it's April 1st over there in Australia right now. He goes, bring on the cousin brothers. And then he says, Aloha Blake, love third phase of moon. Followed you guys for the last few years. Hawaii Isles, my favorite spot on the planet. And then he says, never fear, it's only a matter of time before YouTube is taken over by the Alliance. Then hopefully the sponsorship ends. Well, we shall see. We shall see. But if we had sponsors, that sponsors are good.
Yeah.
So yeah, you've been doing this for a while. As you said, what'd you say, 20 years? Or no, you've been filming since you did the movies. Was 20 years. When did you see? When did you and your brother go Hardy Boys on UFOs?
That's probably, about 2008, 2009. There was a moment when we had some neighbors of ours that lived, a couple miles down the road from us. They knew that we're filmmakers and we're making movies and we had camera equipment. And they thought, maybe who else are they going to call? We live in a small town. Mm-hmm. And they called us up. On our birthday, as a matter of fact. And they said, you know what, guys, you got to bring your cameras over. Bring your cameras because we're seeing strange lights over the skies. And they kind of know we're guys in the neighborhood that we're up for anything. So we're like, yeah, we'll show up with our cameras. Why not? So we go down to their place, and it's in the middle of nowhere. They're live on a potato farm. It's a sweet potato farm, and there's nobody around for miles, and it's along the coast. It's a really amazing area. Apparently, a long history of Hawaiian celebration, and there's artifacts and rock walls all around this area. I'm not sure if there's any correlation to what we experienced that night, but we brought our cameras, and we had one of the most amazing experiences. It's our best birthday present you could ever imagine. It's a quarter of a mile wide TR-3B that we dealt with, a triangular thing that came down on us, and we were, screaming like little kids at the top of our lungs. And unfortunately, it was about 8-9 years ago. We filmed it, but you barely could see the lights. It's just, black with a dot, and it really doesn't give it justice. So the video doesn't do anything, but, right after that, we posted that video up. We also posted up a couple interviewing people that shot some videos, and we realized, wow, look at all these people that are starting to watch this. There's no face to this on YouTube. Nobody's going out there. Nobody's putting it together. And I think, we're basically the guys that were bringing a face to YouTube. I didn't even really give a judgment of what we're looking at. All I did was
just post it. Leave it to their to their judgment. Yeah. And that's what I like. You were never in the videos. You just say, here it is. What do you think? Mm-hmm. Tell us what you think. And that's how it should be. It shouldn't be, oh, did you see it's this and this and that? And feed it. But I do want to ask you, since you got to witness the TR-3B, I too, along with two other witnesses, got to have a TR-3B fly over us. Not directly, just maybe about 50 feet over, but in front, crossing a street from, and it was a Thursday night. It was at 7 o'clock, and I want to ask you, was it a smooth or was it wobbly when it was going by? And was it slow or was it fast?
Well, here's a pyramid, right? Mm-hmm. And we're kind of looking up at it, and it was coming down on top of us, just kind of like it was moving towards us and then started to hover down on us. And it was probably about maybe 150 yards above us. And we were kind of wondering, what are we going to do next? One of the guys that we're hanging out with had a gun. And he had his camera up like this, and he had his one hand on the gun. He was ready to shoot at it. Who knows what would happen then? But we all looked at it, and then we all turned in unison as it went towards Waipio Valley, and it was really amazing. It wasn't. What we did see that was really amazing too is like besides the triangular shape, the lights in the dark that pretty much blacked out the stars was there's these swirling lights on the edge of the craft.
Were they
Swirling
red?
around.
Were they red?
I don't think that there was more like a white with like a sheen around it, like a white, silky sheen, and they're swirling. I don't know. They weren't red. They're more. It was just almost like ghostly almost, but it's weird. I don't know what that had to do with the craft.
Well,
No idea.
what I discovered was this was when this happened. It was like a few months after Google, and I didn't know it until that night. I researched it, found out that the Google Doc showing the patent for the TR3B came out.
Yep.
And so then what I did is I found out that they usually fly them on Thursday nights, and they supposedly store it at Kirkland. I think that's the one in Phoenix Air Base. And then they also have them over at Kirtland in New Mexico. Well, I went on Google Map and I connected those two bases with a direct flight path, and it goes directly over the venue that I was in the parking lot at. And I was just like, oh my God, this is so cool. But what was wild is it was going really slow and like it was in water. And what I was told was is those three lights are stabilizers. The slower it goes, the more it has to like balance, the faster it smooths out. But that's why I was asking. Yeah, my friend he didn't believe it until he saw it actually go over the trees. Because at first he was, oh, those are just towers. It's like, bro, I work here. There are no towers there. It's a neighborhood. And then
Yeah, what's great is we had 5 people there with us at the same time, and we all like. The one guy changed his life. He got a haircut, got a job. You really psychologically. And they were scared. I was like really amazed. We always looked up in the sky, but for like years after that, when we drove by that place, we're just like, damn, can't believe what happened. And then, about 2 years later, we actually met somebody else who was a 6th eyewitness that was on the upper road and saw this thing come over that farm and just hover there for a few moments and then go towards Waipio Valley. So it was
So
one of those.
All of your research. Let's just while we're on the TR3B. Do you see that? Now I've been told there's 2 different sizes. The one that I saw, which was literally around 100 yards, less than that from us, and literally 2-3 feet above the treetops because the trees were like, it was just weird. It was about the size of like a jet fighter plane. Now I've been told that there's these larger versions of it that are transporters. So are these reconnaissance ships, or are they transport ships, or what do you know? Since you're like you know a lot more than I do, that's for sure.
Well, yeah, I got to feel. Obviously, it's a secret Space Force program, and it's reverse engineered, and it's one of ours, but using technology that they've obtained and just reverse engineered it. What's going on our side of the island is there's constant military exercise going along the coast because where we live, there's a 300-foot drop off a cliff that ends to the Pacific Ocean. So they're always practicing below those cliffs. So half the island doesn't even know what's going on as they're doing their exercises below this cliff line, and nobody can see what's going on. And we're looking out over here all the time, and we're seeing stuff that would blow you away. But I think it's definitely military, and we're just lucky enough to be in the area because we're in this hot spot with the cliffs. It's always happening along this coast, and they might have just spotted us through the infrared, knowing that we're hanging out there, they're messing with these guys on this farm or whatever, and just messing around with them. But so the TR3B is definitely a secret Space Force, and like the patent's been out. I got a feeling that it's going to be declassified real soon, and hopefully, knock on wood, we'll be able to see one fly over the Super Bowl next year. It's right around the corner. We're going to see this thing.
That wouldn't it be cool if it came right over, stopped, hovered over the center, and then dropped the football for the game ball to start the game off?
That's right. That's what we need. We need that thing. It's $1 trillion machine.
Yeah.
It's $1 trillion machine.
Yeah. Well, so we just now, people seem like their eyes are opening. The ones that haven't yet, they're waking up to a lot of things, especially now that we have the Space Force. Um, I feel like that is one. Well, we need it, but yeah, we already have it with the Secret Space Force. It's just so many people are seeing the Secret Space Force that they're like, look, we're just gonna call it Space Force and use the Star Trek logo, which I think is kind of
Yeah,
cool.
that's good. I like it.
I do too. I do too. I really, I'm almost 50 and my body isn't like it used to be when I was younger. And I'm just, I wish I would have signed up. I totally would have signed up. Um, but you also have the USOs, right? The underwater or unidentified submerged,
Close enough.
yeah, that thing.
We get it.
Yeah. So do you have a lot of those along the coastline too, or is that something that you find in just other areas of the world?
Well, it's a good question. Just recently, I think it was right before we went to Oahu. So this would be in December, mid-December. We got a call from our parents because they look out on the coast too. They live about maybe 50 miles down the coast, and we give each other calls like, "Hey, there's something coming towards you," and then you get outside. And it's like 2 minutes later, here it comes. But recently, we got a call from them, and they saw something that was possibly USO related, and just went across the ocean, probably about maybe 10 15 feet off the ocean. It had no wingspan. It was just like, basically they said that it was like an atmospheric glowing object that just moving about 300 to 400 miles an hour.
Didn't you show a video of that? Wasn't there a video like over the bushes off your backyard or something of that off the coastline?
Oh, well, recently, yeah, there's like we're experimenting with night vision.
Oh yes,
Yeah,
yes.
yeah.
The
And this,
psionics
there it
night
is.
vision scope.
Yeah,
Oh, you got one too? I didn't know if you were
yeah,
just borrowing it,
of course.
dude.
There.
Wait, hold on. Okay, and yeah, that's what I was showing. I had it on full camera on you, but yeah, these things
Yeah,
are awesome. Um,
yeah. There's something. We've got a few things going on our coast, and
uh-huh.
and these things are great, no doubt about it. Like I say, I think a lot of it's just military exercise. But what my parents saw like a couple months ago, it's just bizarre. My dad's been, he's been in the military. He's been watching this coast for 25 years. He knows what's conventional and what's not.
Right.
He didn't know what it was. We have some of the deepest waters right here out on the coast. You go out maybe 50 yards, you're going down miles already.
No.
Yeah.
No, I'm cool.
Yeah.
I'm cool. I'm staying in my bunker, bro. That man, when you can't touch the bottom, no.
Oh, man.
Yeah,
No,
yeah. I don't even like getting in the bathtub.
I've done some deep water, open water swims
Yeah,
out where it's 7 miles deep.
it's all
And
Spielberg's fault
it's
with Jaws.
terrifying.
Hmm.
It's beyond belief. I couldn't handle it.
Now, if Spielberg didn't do Jaws, I'd probably be a scuba diver. No, Jaws, it ruined it for me. But I'll watch it 100 times on TNT or whatever channel, if it comes on. It's like my Shawshank Redemption. I gotta watch it.
Every time we do Jaws, it's like once you're hooked. We've seen it over 100 times, and
And it's got a UFO too.
yeah, it does. And
Yeah.
unfortunately, we're surfing all our life, so we were forced to think about Jaws every time we're out in the water. Just always looking for the shark, and it was always on the back of our mind. Thanks to Spielberg. But what a beautiful movie! One of the best.
Oh yeah.
Something new every time you watch it.
Oh, I know the little things. And now you got to worry about the Mandela effect. It's like, well, did he really say we need a bigger boat, or you're going to need a bigger boat? Yeah, all these things. So, man, we're just moving. We're trucking along here. Already did that question and asked about that. And what is, in your opinion, the biggest news right now in the UFO world? What's going on?
Well, there's a few things. This past month, March was a big month. I think they're not hiding anymore, is what we titled a couple of our videos. It's like they're getting a little bit more bold. There's a couple of things that came on with the SpaceX rocket, whereas the SpaceX Falcon, launched one of the Space Dragons, but then one of their re-entry boosters, as it's re-entering to land on one of these platforms, UFO zooms right by it, and it looks amazing. It looks like a metallic flying saucer, one of those classic things, and it's just incredible. But what's amazing is that we had this same exact anomaly 2 years ago in 2018 when Musk did the exact same thing as one of these re-entry rockets. Another thing zoomed by right by it. We're able to analyze both videos from just last month and one 2 years ago, and the resemblance is amazing. And
it's not like a camera drone or anything.
no, it's in outer space, so it can't be a camera.
I thought you meant down by the platform. Like I thought maybe it was like just watching at angles.
Yeah.
Just asking.
Yeah, that's a fair enough question. Yeah, my bad not explaining it. It's as it's entering Earth's atmosphere. It's still into outer space, and yeah, I don't know what it could have been. I don't think it's a satellite that it zoomed by. It's in too close of proximity. It'd be in danger of like hitting the rocket, breaking it up in massive amounts of pieces, and mess up our space ecosystem with parts. I think this thing was aware of it as it re-entered. So I thought that was one of the great things this month. And then stereo vision, some stereo vision that came out of NASA that projects the sun's coronal ejections throughout the solar system as this wave feeds out through our solar system. But on that stereo vision, it captured a massive, to me, it looks like a planet-sized.
Yes, I did. Yeah, I saw that video. That was a good one.
Yeah.
Man,
so those are mind-blowing. And then another recent, this month again, a joint Norway Air Force program where they're doing a joint military exercise program, and they're videotaping the F-18s doing some maneuvers, and then in the background looks to be something that, again, is something out of the secret space force.
Tagging along for the ride.
Yeah, just checking things out.
Oh, yeah. The Space Force is probably, doing their maneuvers, but utilizing our Air Force without telling them.
Yeah. No doubt. They're two different factions, and we're working on a documentary right now of things that are going to blow you away. And we've got some whistleblowers that are involved with the Secret Space Force, and revelations on how even the president himself is basically admitting that he wants our Navy pilots to see these things.
Yeah.
And they're doing these experiments, and why not do it on the best in the world, our own Navy, with our own Black Ops project, developing these exotic craft that are blowing away our own F-18s and
right.
slowly getting it.
And have you heard that a lot of these craft that move like that, it's because of toroidal energy, not regular propulsion?
I'm not an expert on some of this toroidal trajectory.
Toroidal energy?
Yeah. Tell me about that.
Force. It's what combines. Yeah. It's, like the Chinese have that ball with all the stripes on it. It's the flower of life. That's a three-dimensional image of the anyway, you get that. And it's what's in a shell when you cut a shell in half, or an orange, an apple, the way sunflower seeds grow. It's all on, of course, it's a mathematical equation that goes like this and gets smaller. Not the Mandela, or not Mandelbrot set. What is it?
I know. We interviewed Dr. Michael Sala in regards to the technology and what makes the Tic Tac propel through the ocean at 500 miles an hour and then go through the sky about 20,000 miles an hour. And he talked about this force field around the craft itself. He did have a
toroidal energy. It creates a bubble around it. I don't think
he called it that, though. He called it something else, Frank. You got any idea? Well, you're going to have to watch the documentary, but we got whistleblowers. We're excited. It's a neat project. We're going to be coming out with it real soon. Wrap this thing up because the times now, you never know when how the world's going to end. So we're putting out information just because you just never know. Might as well get it out now. Hopefully,
because they're threatening. Supposedly, they're threatening to shut down just internet and cell for like a few days, called 3-day blackout. Yeah, Wilcox and a bunch of other people are talking about it. And when it happens, then okay, it happened. But I think a lot of us have been ready for it. So, but it just sucks that we're all being sent to our bedrooms and we can't go out and play. Especially all these poor kids that don't have to finish a school year. I feel bad
I
for the seniors though, because they've worked really, really hard, and it's like the last semester, their prom, end of the year, and wah wah, I feel for them. I feel for them. But I think a lot more parents today appreciate teachers than ever before. All the ones
Really.
homeschooling. So, all right, now real quick, I want to just do some of the people in the chat room. So, we got Prestigious for C says hello. Jeff Strodrick says, "Hey Doc, do you think the exaggeration of media will help the world to see the truth?" That's a good question. I think they do that through entertainment with the movies. I think that's media. Media is kind of news too, but what do you think?
What was the question?
Question was from Jeff Strudwick. Do you think the exaggeration of media will help the world to see the truth?
Hmm.
By making it so big and over, the top that people are like, okay, I'm taking notice because I think this is ridiculous, but at least they're noticing. I don't know. What do you think?
I don't know. I'm kind of biased because I've had, a few years ago we got the H1N1. I was in Los Angeles during the breakout. And, these flus, they're not fun. You don't want to go through this stuff. And
No.
for years I've been saying, the world should go in a lockdown maybe every 2 years for 2 weeks at a time. We just like
A reset.
just a reset every 2 years, quarantine 2 weeks, and actually enforce it. Where you could go out there and you're going to do a year in jail. You're going to get a $10,000 fine guaranteed if you defy this law, and then you reset it, and we fix this. The people that are procrastinating this is going to extend it for
Longer. Yeah.
Yeah, hundredfold. Instead of if we just we have two choices: either just let it run its course and then deal with it at that point.
Yeah, but it is doing. I have to say, I'm not like a big tree hugger or anything. I mean, I'm all for the earth and everything, but it's been a really good reset for the earth too, with pollution, cleaning up the air. I talked about how the little streams in Venice, Italy, for the first time in history, are crystal clear. You can see all the way to the bottom. You can see all the fish and the swans are coming down. Things like that are happening all over. It's so. I guess you could say that is a nice little benefit to this reset.
Yeah, I
Go
was
ahead.
actually we're coming to the theory is that before this was put on us, the news was all about the end of the world with climate change. Climate change. If we don't reset it, if we don't do it right now, it's going to be too late. It's going to be too late, and if we don't do it today, and nobody's listening to that. Nobody took it seriously, and maybe it's almost like that equation has Spielberg used in Close Encounters of the Third Kind when they wanted to have their big reunion at Devil's Tower. They had to get rid of the town, so they put this fake pandemic out there to
Right.
scare everybody to get out of town. Well, maybe they put this fake, I don't know, I'm just speculating here, that they put this on us to actually save the world and make people stop, this global climate change. And what a better way to cut it down, because nobody was listening anyway. Nobody was going to stop doing what they're doing to save the planet for climate change down the future. Maybe they had to make this call and make this step, and maybe it's a scare tactic to solve
Yeah.
the future problem.
Well, I mean, I just got over the crud. I didn't get tested, so I don't know if it was COVID or not. But there's some nastiness going around because almost half people I know have been sick with something. But
Yeah, it's not fun.
I feel that the governments of the world are utilizing this pandemic or epidemic to their benefit, to their agendas, which from what I'm seeing, is a lot of good. The bad guys are getting kicked out of this place and that place, and this 3 day of darkness is supposed to be 3 days of collection, you might say, of the bad guys, because everybody's home. I don't know. I mean, that's what a lot of other bigger players in our circles are saying from other inside sources. But we will see. We will see.
Yeah, that's
Um,
the famous line. We'll see.
it is. It really is. And what else are we gonna do? We just gotta just like hurry up and wait.
It's we'll
Um,
see, be safe. We'll see, be safe.
yeah.
Everybody say
Right. Okay. So Miss Justice says third phase is the best, and Raspberry says, "Doc, your audio is difficult to hear." Oh, now I'm reading that. Well, that sucks. Uh, that's probably because I've got two things going in the mic, and yeah, if I mute one, I might go out completely. Let's see. Audio is much better on my phone than on my smart TV. So there we go. Raspberry says, "Wish I could switch. I'm missing his knowledge being shared. Wish I could." Okay. Let's see. Raspberry thing says, "Glad third phase is clear." Okay, so I guess we just missed a whole thing that was going on while we were talking that I just didn't notice was going on. Uh, let's see. Dave Dennis says SSP insiders claim TR3B now superseded by even more advanced craft. I
Oh
believe
yeah.
Dr. Michael Sala was talking about this. Have you heard anything about them, Blake? David Dennis from Australia.
Well, tell David. David, yeah, we just interviewed Michael Sala in regards to the secret space program and the ramifications of who and what's behind it, which is incredible information. And he also has been speaking with a whistleblower that's been involved. It's nobody that we've heard yet, but the information that's coming out is kind of relevant to what was going on in the past, and we're going to be coming out with it soon. Michael Sala, he's got really some. When we talk to him, he's always ahead of the game. Like
Mm-hmm.
we'll interview him, and then we'll see his story pop up in the major news maybe 2-3 months down the road. But this guy was the guy that introduced a lot of that stuff. So hands off to Michael Sala. He actually lives on our island, which is kind of cool.
Yeah, I actually was hoping that we could sit down and have some lunch. Remember, I'm supposed to be out there, I think, like next month.
Yeah.
When I was going to come out and see you guys. But with everything going on, and I just went to Spain and Texas and all this stuff, and I was in JFK airport for 10 hours, and it was just right when this was all kicking off. So, and I came back with something, but luckily I'm over.
Yeah, we got something. We're in Hawaii, and Brent's boy came back from Florida and Colorado, but we were also inter-island hopping, and the China. And late January, we picked something up, and I lost my sense of smell. I went to the most spiciest noodle ramen spot I could go to, and I could not, for the life of me, taste.
I heard something that was one of the things of the 19 was that you lose your lack of smell.
Yeah, it was like I've been through life, but yeah,
see, I'm hearing a lot of stories like that, which happened before the supposed outbreak. So
yeah,
the question is, was it already here and already doing its thing, but we just hadn't all taken notice because we were too busy on watching the football game? And then,
yeah, obviously. What was it coming out in early October, if not November?
Actually, there's a picture. There's a picture of an article that when Kobe died, and it has him on the front, and then right next to it it says scientists are scurrying to find the cure for Corona-19.
Yeah.
And that was then.
And they were going to different countries, flying out of Wuhan. There was no ban, and our state is popular. The Chinese people love to come to Hawaii. They're all over the place from there. So you never know. Maybe we got it, and we don't have to go through. Maybe who knows? Hopefully, we already went through it. We got our antibodies up. But I know. No, I'm not my chances, but yeah, unfortunately, there's bugs going around this early. Obviously the flu was going around, but yeah, it took 2 weeks to recover from it.
Okay, check. Oh, can you hear me now? Hold on.
Yeah, I hear.
How about, because people are saying there's an echo. If I bring me down, I love how I find this out like 15 minutes for the end of the show.
I know. Oh well.
But I think I've recorded it through Zoom.
Oh, good.
So
the audio will be in house.
Yeah, well, it's between the webcam microphone or this thing that I spent a lot of money on. I want to use this. It looks cool.
Yeah.
But anyway, all right. So let's see, Tina. I hope that's better. Sorry. We got right into talking and. I wasn't paying attention to this. Because you want to look at your guest. Dave says, so want to visit you guys and Michael Sala when all the virus stuff is over. Recommend avoiding vaccines in the meantime. I think chloroquine is the way to go.
Chloroquine,
is that what it's called? And where do you get that?
Chloroquine.
I mean, is that just you have to go to the doctor?
Hydroxychloroquine. Well, apparently it's used for malaria and it's pretty common. And it's
Oh,
cheap to make. It doesn't. It's inexpensive to make and manufacture, so that's all good. But there's side effects that are not very good, like loss of vision or temporary loss of vision. Things. It's something you don't want to take unless you got to take it. It's
why
you
can't
know,
there just be something you can take that just fixes that and that's all it does? I mean,
yeah,
that's why I hate taking any kind of medications except for maybe basic Advil or aspirin or something, for a headache, because it's you can die from all these things. I
yeah, you
mean,
can.
if you take this one on Wednesday instead of Thursday, there's no Friday. Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
quantum medicine. We need quantum medicine to figure this out. Quantum supremic medicine
harmonic
solution.
with light and stuff, and you just walk into a booth and you're all like a med bed. We were talking about that last night with Mike Barra. He was on the show last night,
Yeah.
and we were talking about the med bed. Now you work with Michael Salas, and he's one of the top, you know, public figures on the secret space program. What have you heard about the med beds?
Well, yeah, we spoke with, obviously Corey Good about that, the med bed and the age regression. And yeah, obviously, you would think that these exist, but then, maybe they don't because, you still see some of the most powerful people, that live in the planet with us that we're aware of. They don't live forever. Unfortunately, you're not seeing them go 150 years, 200 years.
Right.
Except Dick Cheney. Maybe he'd be a good example of this technology going out there. That you follow him.
Well, do you
He's
know?
like he's
Do you know
getting
he was?
younger.
Yeah, he was involved with Project Pegasus, supposedly, with Andrew Brishago, and when he was a corporal.
Yeah.
So it just kind of makes sense, man. I mean, his. I think they did the movie Cheney, and I
Oh
saw it
yeah.
because a friend of mine is in it, and I was like, oh, this isn't the juicy stuff.
I
He's he she didn't he was he gonna buy an aircraft carrier for to have in Montana or Wyoming or something for his home state in case the world went to crap and flooded. He'd have like a full thing with hospital and cafeterias and everything. It's all right there. Did you hear about
wow.
that?
No, I didn't hear about
That
that
was still
one.
when he was in power. Yeah, when he was
Yeah.
still in the White House running things. Yeah, he was looking into purchasing an aircraft carrier.
We
Hold on.
we watched Vice in Los Angeles, and we watched it in a crowd in a theater, and everybody's like, "Oh, ooh, oh my god!" And I was just like, "This is a comedy, people.
Yeah.
This isn't like people in LA got so depressed by it,
Right.
and they're real personal. It's like, come on, man, that's Dick Cheney. You didn't know about this guy? This is a comedy, bro." And they didn't like go with what was really what Nick's capable of. It's like such a tip of the iceberg, and they're already getting emotionally distraught over it.
Oh my, that's.
It's,
I think people are a little too emotional when it comes to politics. It's like it's
yeah,
politics, people. It's politics.
yeah,
I don't talk about it much at all. I mean, I don't show sides. I mean, if I talk about anything, it's about how the government's picking up all these pedophiles and stuff and taking out these bad guys. Um, I'll mention that, but it's just politics, people. I know everything. It's like everybody's got their own little personal thing, and they have to put it through a megaphone. It's like, there's just live. You guys, you know how that is. Just live, right?
pretty much.
Yeah, I felt like I was getting this look like, no, man, our life is hectic. I was like, dude, you live in Hawaii.
Yeah, we keep
So
ourselves busy.
yeah, and I know it's such a rough time. I bet having to be in isolation in your location at this time, especially this time of year. And of course, Hawaii doesn't really matter what time of year. But, wow, wow. All right. So what things do you? I mean, I know we're locking down here and there, but what big
Yep.
things you guys got in store for everybody in the near future, or ideas and plans you're working on?
Well, I hope that as people are staying home, that they at least can look outside and have opportunity, to pass that time by and be outdoors. But we're seeing a little less and less UFO sightings. Like I said, March was really busy, but I'm not seeing the end of March when this kicked in, the UFO sightings have been on the decline, which is kind of interesting. So
they're all
we'll
up.
see.
They're all up in space, hovering. Just going, I'm not going. You go down there. You do the anal probe this week.
World
You
of
know.
worlds. It's how it's for them. They know what's up.
Well, let me ask
Yeah,
you. As you said, looking up, which is a great idea. With your psionics, have you
yeah.
caught like more compelling video than you normally would at night?
Well, when we first got it, we're just like, wow, this thing's really cool. Let's just do some exploring. And when we did it, every time we went out there, that we're catching some things. That's for sure. Right now, it's like, no, you really can't go out there. This island, you can't do anything that's non-essential anymore. And I don't think UFO hunting, unfortunately, is on the essential list as far as HPV is concerned. So, but no, we got a great view out here. The military exercises are continuing, and it was really amazing. Just like again, we're out. We hear this. The C-17s, right? That low hum of C-17 military. They have that hum, but they're really quiet. They just cut through the wind, but you could hear them coming. And then we immediately looked out on the coast, and unfortunately, we didn't get out there sooner because we saw this thing escorting something the same size as a C-17, but it was just totally black, no tail or no wing on it, and no FAA lights. And we don't know what the hell it was, but we only had a quick glimpse, and me and Brent are looking at each other, and we're like, that thing, what was it following? It didn't have any FAA lights. And so we called up our mom and dad, and we're like, Mom, Dad, this thing's coming towards you. Get outside and look along the coast. And they looked at it, and they described it. They got to look. And they also said this thing didn't have any FAA lights. And then we're hoping that it was going to come back our way, because usually they go this way and then come back maybe an hour later back.
Yeah.
So our mom called us up, and they said it's coming back. So we got out there. We had the psionics. We had another camera going, and we're like, okay, we're here at third phase of moon. We're out on our balcony, and this thing, a C-17 is going to come by, and it's going to be escorting this whatever it is without. And unfortunately, when it came back, whatever is escorting wasn't with it anymore. But we were freaking set. Damn. We're going to be ready now.
Nice. Well, dude, they've even got a newer one that's even supposedly more crystal clear. So I'm trying to save it for that one. But these things are awesome. They aren't a sponsor anymore, but I love it. The psionic sport, it's pretty kick butt. All right, Dave says E.T. saw War of the War. No, wait, let's see. Oh. It's saying that the ETs probably saw War of the Worlds and Independence Day, probably lying low to avoid viruses.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because yeah. So, well, dude, it's always awesome chatting with you. Thanks for coming on the show. And, yeah, we can tell everybody because it's on the calendar for October. You guys, you want me to tell them?
Yeah, go ahead. We'll see what's the world.
I know, yeah. July will be the tip. That's when I'll know for sure if it's still a go. But if everything's still a go, we will have the Cousins Brothers at Disclosure Con at the in Pine Top at the Honda Casino Resort, October 3rd and 4th. And yeah, Saturday, Sunday. And it's also Travis Walton's 45th anniversary of his encounter. And so he will be there, as well as members of the logging team and possibly a sheriff and members of his family, including his son. So it'll be a hootenanny. And we're going to do the documentary. We've got John D'Souza on standby. I'm saying standby because of what's going on. We've got Mike Barra. He'll be there. He's coming because I already bought the ticket, so he's coming.
Yeah.
You got you guys. And Jim Goodall, who worked on a lot of SR-71s, good friend with Bob Lazar and John Lear. So I'm sure you guys will have some fun to talk about some things. And we throw a pretty kick butt party too, so it'll be a lot of fun.
Go.
And you guys will be living up. I know you're used to the coast, but this is just as beautiful, minus the water. We got the pine trees.
Sure.
We got Bigfoot too, and UFOs. So
No, we like desert landscapes. It'll be cinematic shooting for
No,
sure.
no, no,
Bet.
no, no, no. No, there is no desert here. We are over
Okay.
8,000. We got a ski resort. We're over
Oh,
8,000
so
feet up. Yeah, the bottom of the Rocky Mountains.
it's country, trees, creeks.
Yep.
Ah,
Deer.
just like the island.
Yeah, yeah. But we have snakes.
Oh yeah.
That's the cool thing about Hawaii, folks, is there are no snakes. It was almost a tipping point for me to move there. Was the fact there's no snakes. I don't like snakes. Not at
No,
all.
man.
I'll take a big iguana or a lizard, but no snakes. So, all right. Well, thank you so much for hanging out with me tonight. And we'll probably do this again before the Disclosure Con. Most definitely. We do a lot of cross promote with all the speakers and stuff. So, look forward to that. And was there any other questions? People saying, thanks, Doc and Blake. Great show. Tina says, hopefully she'll be able to go to Disclosure Con this year. Hopefully it'll be 3D in 2020. See how I worked that? Third Disclosure Con. Anyway, never mind.
Okay. All right, Doc. Well,
All right, sir. Thank you so much. I'm going to look for the stop streaming button, and I will chat with you later. All right?
you guys have a good one. Keep your eyes on the skies, and if you capture anything amazing, you
Yes.
know
Oh,
who to send it.
tell them where to go. Third Phase of Moon YouTube, website, Facebook, all that. Tell them real quick.
You did it. Everybody knows.
All
You
right.
guys care, man. We'll see you.
Fantastic. All right. Thank you, sir. Talk to you later.
You guys have a good one.
All right. Bye. All right. So fix this and click there and boom. Folks, ladies and gentlemen, I hope you enjoyed that show. This was my first show with Blake. So I wanted to have everybody get to know him if you hadn't, seen Third Phase of Moon or knew who they were. But him and his brother are pretty big and well known on the island. On the islands, yeah, because and the movies. The movies are great, so go check it out. Go to thirdphaseofmoon.com. All right, so I'm gonna go over here and end this. There we go. So that's done. I hope you all had a great time tonight. Tomorrow night is Wednesday, and I don't know who's gonna be on. It'll be something cool. If not, it'll be a lot of jibber jabbering of a man who's all alone with cabin fever here in the White Mountains of Arizona in the United States of America. But I am working on doing a series of shows, possibly next week or the week after, on body flight. Yes, the art of body flight. Skydiving, indoor skydiving, squirrel, free fall, whatever, all that. So I'm working on something like that to just kind of get the blood pumping. Until then, thank you, everybody. Thank you for everybody that joined in the chat room, which I'm pretty sure, yeah, that's the same chat room. Yeah, cool. All right, if you can only see, I've got monitor, laptop, because I wanted to make sure I got everybody in here and I didn't miss anybody. I wasn't able to get to all the questions last night because I was just in with a guest. And by the way, no, I am not a real doctor. I play one. that's just my nickname since I was a kid. So, no, I'm not a real doctor, and I don't put out medical advice. What my guests say is what my guests say. That's what they say. I'm just here to give them a platform. All right. Love you all. Thank you so much. The team says good night. See you next time. Yes. Probably. Yeah. I think I'm gonna try a whole week on YouTube. We'll do that. We'll see how that works. Please tell your friends. Subscribe. Hit the notification bell if you like what I'm doing. And your Daddy Warbucks sitting on a big pile of gold coins. Can I get 2 of them? You can just send them. There's a thing in the description in the window. Anything would help. Appreciate it. Love you. I know we're all struggling, but just put it out there. It's a tip jar, people. That's all this is, a tip jar, because I can't sing. All right. I got to hit the stop button. I got to end this. This madness. Oh, I didn't even share to Facebook. I hope you did. Doc Skinner, 1028 Live. The last day of March 2020. I'm out of here. Just looking for that stop button.